Hello, this is the video that I told you guys I was going to make tonight to kind of get us caught back up for class tomorrow. So this is in the worksheet packet that I gave you today in class. It's called Finding Slope from an Equation. We practice finding slope from a picture or a graph today, and we also practice finding slope from the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if you have an equation, which means you don't have a graph in front of you and you don't specifically have two ordered pairs that you know right away, one way is to put the equation into the form y equals mx plus b. This is called slope-intercept form. We'll worry about the intercept part tomorrow in class. What is that actually referencing? But if you've got your equation solved for y, and it's a linear equation, which means both x and y are both to the first power, then the coefficient up front is the slope in front of the x. So notice this one is already solved for us. So notice this already has our slope just staring us in the face. This has a slope of -5/2. Now that's useful in case I wanted to go graph this equation. So let's look at one that's maybe not as obvious. This one, of course, if you see something like this, understand that there's a 1 there, so this would have a slope of -1. But let's look at number 5. Number 5 does not have the y equals mx plus b format. So one way we can solve this and get it in that format is we can say, how do you get y by itself? Well, we want to get this 2x to be on a different side. So if it's a positive 2x and you want to move the entire term to the other side of the equal sign, one way to do that is remember to do an opposite operation. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. Now that negative in front of that y is going to come down, and then we rewrite this as equals -2x and a +1. You cannot combine those two together because they're not like terms. They don't both have the x. And then we don't usually let a negative be in front of our y when we're solving something. So we're going to divide everything by -1 to get that to be just positive y. Now that's just going to change the sign of everything on the other side because negative divided by negative is positive, positive divided by negative is negative. So notice now that this is in this format, you can see that the slope of this line is actually +2. So that's how you find the slope from an equation of a line. If you want to look at a more interesting one, let's see if I have any that are a little more interesting. Yeah, let's look on the back side. For this one, we would, actually, I think I want to do number 12. For this one, we would need to subtract a 4x over to get it away from the y. If you have a 0 over here, when you rewrite your answer, you don't need to write +0. You can just say -4x. We would divide everything by -5 to get the y by itself since they're multiplying to connect those two things to each other. So this is negative divided by negative, which would be 4/5 positive x, and then there's nothing at the end. So this is still the m for that equation, or this slope. Let's talk about number 13. Number 13 is y equals -1. You're supposed to remember that anytime you see a y equals without an x involved, that is a horizontal line. Horizontal lines, that looks like lime. Horizontal lines have slope of 0. We learned that today in class. And I bet there means there is a vertical case somewhere. Let's see. Oh, maybe not. But if you just had x equals a number, like x equals 2, then you would have an undefined slope. So that's just the extra thing I wanted to show you guys. That way it's something small. It's just knowing how to move some things from side to side in an equation, get the y by itself, and if you can do that, then your slope is in front of the x term. So hopefully this will help us start out a little bit more on track for tomorrow's class.